Hey, welcome. In this video, I'm going to be highlighting some of the art supplies that I bought in the recent sales. You've probably noticed a lot of the sales started just before Black Friday. So the items that I had on my wish list, I took the opportunity of just getting them straight away. So I will swatch them, I'll chat through them, I'll talk through why I got them. To start things off, we have this set. This is the cover of it. It is the ShinHan gouache set. It's set B. Comes with 24 15mm tubes of gouache. And I have had the ShinHan set in my wish list for maybe around a year. I was initially very much tempted by it because I saw that Sarah Burns had been using it and it was in her gouache boxes, and I just love the way that she uses gouache and I very much trust her judgment. So that's why I had it in my wish list, and I was and ahhing as to whether I should get set A or B, A or B, A or B, and set A was cheaper, and in the end I kind of picked, okay, I'll get set A, but it was sold out and had been sold out for so long. It's still sold out. So you can imagine my pleasant surprise when on a random unassuming day I checked to see what the Black Friday sales are, and this is 50% off. And those of you who are in the UK will know that it feels so rare to actually get really good deals, especially when it comes to art supplies. So as soon as I saw that this was 50% off, I put it straight in my basket, and I'm so glad that I have finally got it. So this is the first and foremost the thing that I was super excited about, and this is, like I said, what the cover looks like here, and it's set B. Now, some of the colors that I felt were missing that I added to this set were, and to be honest, they're not like necessities, apart from maybe a white. This set, I don't know why, doesn't come with a white, and I was looking to see the individual tubes, and for reasons unknown, I couldn't find just a normal white, a PW6 or a PW5. What I could find was a pearl white. So I've got pearl white, which is PW20, to complement the set. I also got a burnt umber because it is one of my absolute go-to colors when it comes to painting with gouache, especially as I really love and enjoy painting gouache landscapes. And although there is a sepia, for me it's not quite the same as a burnt umber. I prefer the warmth of a burnt umber. And then the only other color that I got was opera, and that is just because I don't know, I've really been enjoying painting with opera, and I thought that would be a nice complement. In honesty, there is a pink, which is like a beautiful bright color as well. So an opera is by no means like a necessity, and it's not light fast and all of that stuff, I know. However, I thought that would be a nice addition to the set. So then this is the Holbein gouache. It is a set of 12 Iridori summer set. You know, there are seasonal sets that are Holbein gouache, and I've been and ahhing as to which to get for the longest time because I love the colours across all of them, but they're usually around £55, if not more. And in Black Friday, they were 50% off. So again, this is another really great deal. I got it for just under £28 and very well worth the wait. So this is a set that I'm really excited and glad to get, and honestly one that I wasn't expecting to get because I didn't think it would go on sale, so I was very pleasantly surprised. There are quite a few videos on this online already, so I don't know if you want an in-depth video. If that's something that you're interested in, by all means let me know. Then I also got this adorable set, and this is what it normally comes with, and this is the set of 18 5mm, so you can see that they are quite significantly smaller than the other tubes. It has 18 colors, and yeah, I've really been enjoying using Holbein gouache as a whole. I have another set, a set of 24, and when I saw this again 50% off, you can see like I'm a sucker for a sale, but yeah, when I saw that this was half price, I got it. It's even better, like I had another set last year during Black Friday, they were £28, and this year they were £24, so I got a set as I know that I enjoy it and it will replenish the colors that I already have, love and use. And then I have a few extra colors here. So I recently had a really lovely Zoom session where Hannah Flanagan joined us as a guest and kind of talked through her art process with my art members, and also shared the art supplies that she'd been really enjoying and loving using at the moment. And she was talking about these the ShinHan pack. So they are supposed to be like an in-between gouache and watercolor by ShinHan. And I was just so curious to see how they would work because she spoke of them so highly. And I'm curious to know, are they more gouache? Are they more watercolor? I don't know. I have a lot of questions. So I did buy a few colors a while ago, and I thought that this would be a great opportunity to test them out and see what I think, because the full set currently on sale. So what I want to know is essentially, should I get the full set? Do I like it enough to get the full set, or is this enough of the colors that I want, or is it actually not for me and thus I don't need to get the full set at all? So that's the main thing that I want to know, and the main thing that I'm really wondering, because it's time sensitive, because obviously the sales will end later on this week. And also at the moment there's an extra sale where if you type in ShinHan 10 on Jackson's, you will also get an extra 10% off on top of the sale price. So I really want to know, like, feels like the cheapest I'm going to get it, unless they do a 50% off sale again next year. So I really want to use this opportunity. So I'm not going to swatch out the 18 set because I've done a separate video where I swatched out the 24 set, and all of the 18 colors are actually in the 24 set. So this is literally just replenishing it because it was such a great sale and great deal. So in terms of the colors that are inside the 18 set, in case you are interested and you wanted to see the swatches, it's carmine, flame red, brilliant orange, permanent yellow, lemon yellow, leaf green, emerald green, permanent green deep, then there is no olive, and we go on to turquoise blue, there is no pure blue, then we go to ultramarine blue, Prussian blue, violet, magenta, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, burnt umber, and ivory black, and then a white that I haven't swatched out but is also included in the set. And I guess here I'd also made observations about the 24 set in that only 7 colors are light fast and 15 of the colors were single pigment. Only 5 colors were both single pigment and also light fast. So that's basically what I was highlighting here. So the 18 set has a very good range of colors. I feel like the only color that I would be tempted to add would be the olive green, because I think that's really nice, really lovely set. And if you want to see them swatched out, be sure to check out that video. Then these are 2 paintings that I did with the Holbein gouache. These are all like mixed media paintings. So yes, these 2 paintings I did with Holbein gouache, as well as these 2 paintings with Holbein gouache, and this was with acrylic gouache, and this was with Holbein acrylic gouache and normal gouache. And I've made process videos of most of those paintings. That's available on my membership. This is from the session with Hannah Flanagan, where she was talking about using the ShinHan Pass, which is what got me tempted. I wanted to get this video out to you as quickly as possible so that if there are any deals that appeal to you, you can make use of them in time. And I'll leave everything linked down below in the description. In the interest of time, I won't be like swatching out everything. Instead, I'm going to be swatching out and painting with one of the supplies that not only have I been curious about for a while, but it's kind of time sensitive, and that is the ShinHan Pass. They are marketed as being something in between watercolor and gouache, and I've been curious about them for a little while. So I have a few tubes which I'm going to swatch out and paint with, and the thing that I'm trying to figure out is basically, should I buy the full set, or especially now that they're on sale, or do I just need a few extra colors, or is it not for me at all? That is basically what I'm trying to figure out. ShinHan are a Korean brand, so obviously ShinHan Pass and ShinHan Gouache, they're all made by the same company, ShinHan. This has a light fastness of 1 star, which doesn't fill me with confidence. It's called Lemon Yellow, PY147. Oops. Oh, it looks almost fluorescent. But that's the one negative thing about a light fastness. You can't really know until you test it out yourself, especially when it's not tested by, you know, the more standard ways. This feels quite thick. Thicker than I would expect with watercolor and closer to what I would expect with gouache. This looks fluorescent. This is not lemon yellow. That's why it's not light fast. This is so bright. Look at that. I'll do a bigger swatch here. Okay, that is super, super bright. Next we have alizarin crimson, which is PR83 and PR122. It is 2-star light fastness. That's a really pretty color. That is beautiful. It's thinner than the lemon yellow. Feels closer to watercolor than gouache. Let's mix the two together. Very pretty. And then you can also water it down, and because it's in between both gouache and watercolor, either way should reactivate, which it does. I'm so surprised by that yellow. I have no clue what I'm painting here, by the way, but I figured it would be nice to have big swatches as well. Next we have Opera, which is BV11:1 and BR1. It is Lightfast 1. That's just binder that's come out, so let's mix it. It's like I've picked the world's brightest colors. That is super, super bright. Obviously fugitive. Will fade. Just loosely tightening the thing and then massaging the tube to try and get that binder to mix into the rest of the paint. Alternatively, what you can try to do is use like a toothpick, or even better, a metal paper clip, so that you don't waste the paint. You can just wipe it clean onto your paper or something. So let's see, which one does this feel like? This is quite separated. But I'd say it's feeling, I see what they mean about in between watercolor and gouache. This one feels closer to watercolor. It's not quite as thick as gouache. Obviously I haven't picked typical colors. Then this color here is Brilliant Pink. You can see what I was really thinking. This looks thick. So this one looks closer to gouache. You see how it's like covered the writing of Brilliant Pink. It's opaque, really nice actually. It is 2-star light fastness and it is PR209 and PW6. I quite like the color. It's like a baby pink, Prussian blue. I'm always like in search of the perfect Prussian blue for myself. This is 2-star light fastness, PB27, and let's see what the consistency is like. Like watercolor. Yeah, it's like watercolor. Really lovely though. Beautiful color. Not opaque, as you can see. Mixes nicely. I don't know, I'm in two minds. Tell me, what do you think? One of the issues that I'm thinking about is that they are like so fugitive. So perhaps like a good fun set for just playing around in the sketchbook. But I also wonder, because they are so fugitive in terms of like, so bright and neon, I also wonder if they would even last in the sketchbook. Sometimes colors can also fade despite being inside the sketchbook if they're fugitive enough. This is Indigo, which is PB66. It is 2-star light fastness. It's like I looked to see which colors had the worst light fastness, and those are the ones I picked. It's almost like that. This feels closer to watercolor as well, so it's not opaque. Let me just swatch it out here so that you can see. Really nice moody blue, and water it down so that you can see the color underneath. A really nice color. I like the colors that I picked. I think my one regret sounds so strong, so not regret, but my one thought is like, I wish I'd got a yellow that wasn't neon. Like a normal yellow. I feel like that would help me assess things a bit better. This color is Composite Blue. It is 2-star light fastness. It's PB15 and PG7, which is interesting because both of them are like relatively light fast pigments. So I suspect there's maybe white or something else inside, and that is why it is not light fast, which would explain why it is this beautiful aqua kind of color. It's really pretty. But yeah, I suspect maybe there's a white or something else inside. Despite that, it's not actually opaque. So this again is also like watercolor. And Burnt Umber is the last color. Really nice color. Just going to mix that, pick up some of those extra colors. And let's let that dry and see if we can layer on top, because I feel like that will give us a bit of a better idea as to maybe how gouache-like they really are. If you are enjoying this video, don't forget to hit the like button and to consider subscribing for more videos like it. And if at the moment you've found like some really great deals, by all means feel free to share them in the comment section. And beyond that, if there is something that you are really enjoying using at the moment that's really inspiring you and your artwork, then again feel free to share it in the comments. I find it to be a treasure trove of information, so I really do enjoy the chats that we have there. Let me use this opportunity to do a painting and try to turn our swatch square page into a landscape painting. I'm not going to put like that much thought into it. It's not going to be a masterpiece. The main aim of it is just to really see how do they work, how do they differ from gouache and watercolor, and ultimately do I need this set or not. So off the bat, in terms of color choices I appreciate that some of my color choices don't necessarily make the most sense. That being said, in my defense, how was I to know that lemon yellow would actually be like a neon yellow? Like I wouldn't have expected that. So I now need to try and create a landscape or something somewhat recognizable over the swatches that we have. And this serves two purposes really. One is obviously to have a painting and to, that's how you really get to know how your paints work, painting with them as often as possible. But also I'm kind of curious to see how they layer on top of each other and how they feel, and are there any obvious pros, cons, how do they move in water, all that good stuff. I guess one of the key things that I was wondering before getting this was, is it more like watercolor or is it more like gouache? And it is tricky because I truly do believe that it's actually in between, and it has properties of both. So I guess I can tell you what the properties are, and then you can decipher for yourself where they fall. But essentially, some of the colors, as you could maybe appreciate, like the lemon yellow and the composite blue, and maybe even the burnt umber, were a little bit thick, and the brilliant pink were a little bit thicker in consistency. They were a little bit closer to opaque, and they kind of felt a little bit more like gouache in comparison to the others that were actually a little bit more transparent or semi-transparent. They were more like watery, and they kind of felt a little bit more like watercolor. I would say that they don't necessarily move like watercolor. They don't necessarily like feel completely like watercolor, and also they didn't totally dry like watercolor in terms of how they appeared. And I feel like as you see the landscape evolving in this painting process, that would become a little bit clearer. So in honesty, I don't know where they fall, because I don't feel like they are opaque enough and layerable enough to be gouache, but they're not quite like watercolors. So they're in between. It's true, they're in between. I enjoyed using them, but I feel like if I was expecting them to be like gouache and I was using these, I would say that they're bad gouache. And if I was expecting them to be like watercolor and I was using these, I would say that they're bad watercolors. So do you see what I mean? And that they fall in between, and they're not either. They're their own thing. But I did enjoy using them. I think one of the key things that I also quite enjoy about this is like the vibrancy of the set and how playful the colors are and how bright they are, especially like that opera. I know that the opera as a whole is a bright color, but I feel like this is one of the brightest ones that I have seen, and the colors themselves just feel very, very playful. They mixed well with each other. They worked well together, and I really did enjoy using them. Some of the clear cons that came as I was swatching them, and you probably noticed, was primarily the light fastness and just the fact that they are low in light fastness, so they will fade with time. Now they are assessed by ShinHan. It's not like the formal testing way of letting you know how light fast or not they are, but also more specifically than that, because I don't like mind something being fugitive. So I don't mind something that's going to fade, as long as I know that that's the case, and as long as it's not, super expensive, as if it's, something that's not going to fade. Does that make sense? But I feel like sometimes with neon colors like the lemon yellow, which I don't know why lemon yellow is neon, but anyway, neon colors sometimes like lemon yellow and maybe even like the opera, they sometimes fade even without being exposed to light. So I don't know if that's what's going to happen with this. So I guess that makes it fun for sketchbooks, but also if you create a piece that you really love, I would probably take a picture of it or scan it so that you have a record of it just in case it fades. I don't know if that will happen with ShinHan Pass, but that's one of the things that I tend to think about when I see colors that are super, super bright and super, super neon. They may fade even in a sketchbook. I really enjoyed them. They were really playful. I was told that they're probably closer to gouache, and I can see why, but equally I couldn't layer it as well as I can with gouache. But I guess technically, yes, they lean a little bit closer to gouache. The other thing that's worth thinking about is, I don't know if you can appreciate it as you're seeing the painting that I'm doing, but when I laid it on thick, because I was trying to use it like gouache and I was trying to have it be like opaque, so when I did that, it left a shine behind. I don't know why that has happened, and it's not every color. So like the brilliant pink, when it was on thick, was nice and matte as it should be, but a Prussian blue, the indigo, the lemon yellow, like those colors, when I put them on thick, they just left like a bit of a sheen, almost as if it's a acrylic painting, which is not something that I like. And that's maybe one of the things that's making me think that the set may not be for me, and perhaps it's in my best interest to stick with the supplies that I absolutely love, which are gouache and watercolor. And although this has properties of both, so it's not like it has the best properties of both. And that's what it's come together with, if that makes sense. It just feels like different, but in between. So I don't know, I'm in two minds. I am really in two minds. I had fun with them. I think that the colors are fun and playful, but that being said, I'm worried the colors will fade regardless. And I don't like that some of the colors, when laid on thick, were shiny, and equally I don't like that I can't fully layer on top. I can't get it as opaque as I can gouache. So I don't know, I'm in two minds. Let me know what you think. If you are still watching, then you are a real MVP, and I really appreciate you, and I love the chats that we have in the comments. I also love knowing that I'm not talking to myself. So if you're still watching, then let me know by telling me, by saying opera. Because I know that it's wild and I know that it's probably going to fade, but out of this set, I really do love the way the opera looks. If you want to be extra helpful, then feel free to let me know what your thoughts are on the set, whether you think it's a great set and I should get the full set now that it's on sale, or whether actually this set is complete as it is because I can get a good range of mixes and colors out of it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then you'll definitely love these series of next ones where I share even more of my favorite art supplies and supplies that I'm loving at the moment. And if you're watching around Black Friday and you want to know whether it's worth it and what sales and deals there are, then I will leave the secret live stream that I did as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. And only 5 colors were both only 5 colors were both single pigment and also light fast.